In the nation of Shenmin, spirits and monsters stalk the depths of Spectre Wood, and ghost towns outnumber those inhabited by living souls. But this was not always the case. Over 100 years ago, the Age of Lost Omens began in Tiansha with the collapse of the mighty Lunghua Empire, an event that left the small towns of Shenmin isolated and forced their citizens to become self-sufficient or fall to ruin. Willow Shore was one such town. Founded to support the construction of a remote mountain monastery, Willow Shore soon transitioned over to a lumber town, and like so many others, it was forced to fend for itself in the years after the Empire's fall. Not 2 years later, the records speak of a mysterious curse that fell upon the town, and while details of what took place have been lost to time, the events of Willow Shore's Season of Ghosts will now be told. The Season of Ghosts begins during the first days of summer, and is a time when the unquiet spirits of Spectrewood grew particularly restless. The townsfolk of Willow Shore celebrate this with a night of feasting on the last day of spring, but when a group of heroes wakes the day after, they find their hometown under siege. Fog shrouds the town, and the night sky shimmers under the light of a crimson moon, and monsters now stalk freely through the town's streets. While defending the monstrous invaders and lighting the town's protective eternal lantern could restore Willow Shore to safety, these invaders and strange manifestations are only the beginning, as walls of ghostly shapes rise in the surrounding woods. The town of Willow Shore has become cursed, and its people must band together if they are to survive the coming year and the horrific monsters they will face. Can the town's newest heroes save their homes, family, and themselves? Or will the Season of Ghosts mean the end for them all?
Hello and welcome. I remember to speak. Normally I don't get to do this. Dave does it. But no, there isn't anything wrong with your screens. I am in the chair and my name is wrong, but that's fine. I'll sort that in a moment. I am in a chair and welcome to 2024. Welcome players. These are new players because this is our first new campaign of 2024. Yeah, I got in there first before Dave did.
Scheduling, that's only because I let you, Steve.
You set the schedule.
I said I was going to be nice to you in 2024. That's why
that's
you're
wearing
here.
Out now, is it?
Yeah, that's why.
So as we embark on this brand new project, if you're joining us on Twitch, welcome to 2024. Obviously, thank you very much. If you are watching this on YouTube, youtube.com Band of Badgers, I did that smoothly there. Then welcome to the future. It may be 25, it may be 26, who knows. I hope you have flying cars. I personally feel cheated that we don't, but there you go. And I'm reminded now that you know, filming stuff for the future is a thing. You know, Robert Rodriguez has just started production with John Malkovich on a 100-year film that they're never going to say. You know, it won't be watched for 100 years. It'll be unveiled in 100 years' time, because their sponsors, Louis XIV Cognac, won't be opening that bottle until then, which I find amazing that you know, a project being done now isn't going to be seen for 100 years, because who knows what 100 years is going to be like. Anyway, I've rambled on enough.
I love the way you've compared us to them.
Why not?
Really?
Why not?
Well,
the point I was trying to make was that sponsors are everything, and as it is on this stream. So with no further ado, I shall hand over to Dave, who's going to talk about our sponsors.
Cool. I nearly went like that. It was the wrong way. I need to go that way.
I remember it right.
I'm sitting in a position. So thank you, everybody. As Steve said, this is our brand new stream, which means we have not exactly brand new sponsors or supporters of the show, but we do have some funky books like this. So everybody, Beadle and Grimm, thank you very much. Highly generous. These are the Character Chronicles, which are absolutely beautiful and fantastic. Thank you so much. Steve, take that off the screen, because Richard was hiding. There, Richard, go on, all on your own. Put the book up. There we go. He's got the cleric book.
The cleric is the best one.
It is. But also, not only have Beadle and Grimm been incredibly generous by providing some books, We and there's another book as well. That's a collector's edition, but also the dice. We have the character dice on hand, ready to go. Even Steve got some this time.
Yeah, I player killers apparently.
Again, I don't. If it was last year, he wouldn't have got any. But it's this year, so we've allowed him to do that. Because in my gracious generosity, I've allowed that. Now, also, it's not just Beetle and Grimm's. Of course, this is a Pathfinder campaign, and Pathfinder wouldn't be here without all the people and peeps at Paizo.com. Thank you very much for all your stuff. I can see that some of you are in chat now. There we go. Look. Ooh, what do you do? No, that was the wrong button. But hi, Jason. That one. There's two. We got too many chats coming in. That's what it is. There we go. Look. Blah, 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 blah. And there we go. Paizo PR. We write a lot of stories about mysterious curses. Thank you so much. Cool. We've got a lot of stuff going on in chat. So, yeah, that's it from... I'll stop ramble. I'll do what you do, Steve. Should I go back?
Ramble. Yeah.
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 There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. So we're going to talk to players now because these are brand new players for the stream. Michael has been on before, and you've seen Meredith on our painting stream, and Richard did play Alien with us, but together as a unit, we've never been as one. So, Meredith, welcome to the stream.
Hi.
I know you haven't done a live playthrough for quite a while. Sorry,
I said
you want to go first?
No. She can go first.
Oh, fine. Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. That's very generous of you.
Very, very gracious. Very gracious. So, Turbo Dork, Steve Jackson Games, in the cat's tail.
Yeah, and a cat's tail. It's fine. You will always have a cat on a stream with me. I do cat rescue. So, before I am a CEO of 2 companies, I am a cat rescuer at heart. So. See, won't even show off. This is BB. She's just a giant turd, but I love her. Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for having me. I really just wanted an excuse to play another Pathfinder game, so I appreciate you letting me have yet another game in my life.
You're more than welcome. I know Turbo Dork's got some big things coming up as well.
Yeah, so we are a little over halfway producing all of our new paint. So we've completely reformulated all of our Turbo Dork paint. It has a new base. It is super hand brush friendly, more stable. It doesn't like freeze, when it hits like 0C. It's amazing. And yeah, so that is actually going to officially be on sale in 2 weeks. Oh my God. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. It's a surprise of no one. I'm painting dragons with it. So
yeah. And you, are you allowed to talk about what you told us earlier with Steve Jackson's game and coming to the UK?
Yes. So I just found out that I'm going to be going to UK Games Expo. With Steve Jackson himself. No, not that one, the Steve Jackson Games one. But wouldn't it be great if the 2 Steve Jacksons were in a room together?
It would, yeah.
It would.
Yeah. And getting that on a photograph as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to get Steve Jackson, and then our Steve in the middle.
In the middle, exactly. A triple Steve threat,
Steve
if you will. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. My head of distribution and international sales was like, you should really come to UK Games Expo. And I'm like, oh no, twist my arm. I absolutely hate going to England. It's the worst. So yes, I'm really stoked about that. It's going to be coming off a pretty hot and heavy travel schedule, but it's going to be good. And yeah, like it's crazy. I'm running a game company. I'm running a paint company, and I'm playing games. I can't complain. I really can't at all.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. So our next new plan, Michael, the Weather Dragon.
That's me.
You've got to have something for getting dressed up. Actually, your outfit is superb, and you do. I mean, you was instantly recognizable from the reference art that you sent me. It's like, oh yeah, that's. I'm not going to say the name because we'll get onto that in a minute, but that is your character. So I'm going to give you a hero point token through the magic of TV.
Go for it. Go ahead. Oh, wow. Thank you. That's fantastic.
The cheese doesn't stop, does it?
Get your biscuits out.
We're here all night, folks.
So
wait to see the handkerchiefs. I mean, really,
that's it. I'll rub it out of hand in a minute. So Weather Dragon, of course, you make just exquisite tables, gaming tables.
The most unique gaming tables on the market.
Yes.
Nobody is doing what we are doing.
No, the lights, smoke effects. It is something to hold. So we had a link up earlier on screen. Go there, check it out. They are amazing. So what have you been up to in the new year? And then have you got anything coming up?
This first quarter is pretty wild. We have 2 brand new table designs coming out. We have an octagon and a hexagon table. Originally, the octagon was supposed to be first, but there was I had to outsource a component to that table that this customer, very particular customer, he wanted leather in the game vault, and I don't mess with leather, so we found a company that can do that. So we're contracting out the game vault base with the leather, so that's going to be cool. So that had to be delayed, but we moved in the hexagon table in its place. So that's the next one up to bat. That one's going to be sick too.
That's cool. That's cool.
Do you ship internationally?
I can. I would.
For a price.
If you pay the shipping, he'll do it.
I gave a guy at Gen Con 2021, I gave a guy a quote to Norway. And he told me, I got some disposable income. And when I told him the quote, he's like, I don't have that much disposable income. Unfortunately, it's not cheap. It's because we're so small, too. If I was shipping a whole Connex box of tables, into Europe, it'd be different. But when it's one at a time, it's tough. It gets expensive.
Yeah. Have you got any cons coming up?
Gary Con, end of first quarter, 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons in Lake Geneva, run by Luke Gygax. You couldn't ask for a better place to be. So I'm super stoked. Yes,
that's going to be the biggest one this year. Definitely.
Last I heard too, Luke was working with the tourist division of Lake Geneva, and entire Lake Geneva is supposed to be a big giant nerd fest. Like it's spilling out of the Grand Geneva, which is the hotel that it's held at. Yeah. So it's gonna be cool.
Have you got something special lined up?
I can't tell you that.
you could, but you're not going to.
There's we're doing a major booth overhaul, and we are trying to add some new features to the table because we can't keep showing the same thing every time we go to cons. So we're trying to mix it up a little bit.
Cool. Awesome. Sure. All right. Well, welcome to the game, Michael.
Thank you.
And
this is. Can I introduce Volanya?
Yes, you can.
She rolled a D20 before, and she's very excited. She wants to show you what she got. Now you can move on.
Let me compose myself. Right, and our final guest player, I say, because Dave is obviously a mainstay of the stream. It'll be familiar to many. Our final guest player, Richard, of Warrior Prince 3D. So I will say this: if you want something printed, go to Richard. Don't go anywhere else. Just go to Richard, because what you're going to get is something you don't have to sand, you don't have to take mold lines out of, you don't have to spend any time prepping. You can put primer on it and paint it. It's you're not paying for the print, you're paying for the service. It's silver service printing. That would be my pitch.
Well, thank you. That was a wonderful pitch. I certainly try my best to make sure that they are always as damn near paint ready as possible, because it's one of those things of it's that horrible thing that stems from my retail days of Wibby. Would I buy it?
Yeah. What have you been up to at the start of the new year? You had some printer problems, didn't you, before Christmas?
So yes, all over. I had a big flurry of orders over Christmas and a massive ordeal with printers to a point of I bought and returned 2 new printers. I have overhauled 3 printers, 3 new screens, 2 new FEPs, a new build plate, and yeah, lots of fun and games, and trying to have the good joy of wrestling with a supposedly auto leveling printer that has now had to be so manually adjusted it's unbearable.
Right.
But I'm back up to printing to my full set of printers I have been using. But yes, unfortunately, I did have a lot of fun with that over Christmas.
And what have you got coming up? Have you got some cons coming up or anything?
I've got a local con coming up, which is a new one, literally in my hometown, called Paradise Convention. And I've got my normal trip, monthly trip I take down to the old Reigate shops. Hopefully going to be pulling a few more cons this year, which is the bigger plan of this year. We're looking at Salute in London, which is a massive one. But again, it's the outlay to get in there as a small one-man band. It is a significant amount.
Yeah.
This year, hopefully, going to be releasing a much larger range of battle boxes. Battle boxes are basically, I'm trying to sort of tailor it so that in encounters in a box. I know it's been done as well, but this is more things like the ones I've got at the moment were basically standard camp fights. So your party gets attacked at camp, you get your tents, bit of food, campfire, items, and then you've got creatures to attack, goblins, orcs, all sorts of other bits and pieces. Basically going to be branching out on that and going into sort of all sorts of bits and pieces and having multiple tiers of them as well. So having very standard boxes you can just throw on the table, that's it, done. Getting to a point of, or you've got the end of campaign ones where you've got a massive beholder vault and a whole dungeon layout and all the bits and pieces to go with it, and all sorts of minions and traps and bits and bobs. So that's my big thing. I'm trying to work on this, this season, as it were.
Cool. Thank you very much. So Dave's been putting up comments in from the chat on the screen as we've been talking. That is something we do intend to do during the stream. Even once we start the game, if you want to shout out some funny comments or you laugh along with us, they will go up on the screen. I'm not averse to you helping the players out, but there is a 10-second delay, so it may have no impact whatsoever.
Blue wire, cut the red wire.
Yeah.
By the time you tell us what to do, it's already gone off. Yeah,
it's too late. Continue shouting out. They will go up on the screen, and I'll try not to get distracted. Cool. So finally, our last player is, of course, Dave Head Badger. I would ask you what we've got coming up, but I know you're not going to say anything because it's all secret.
We've got
I'll leave it up to you what we're going to reveal.
We've got a lot of stuff going on. We have tomorrow, literally tomorrow, we have the start, and Michael knows a little bit about this, but not everything. We have the first episode of a brand new show. Now, I've tried to keep this top secret and under wraps. It has been leaked a little bit, so if you trawl through the interwebs, you could possibly find it. But the first show is actually tomorrow, and then we're going to spin this out over the next few months. So Michael will be back in a different guise, possibly. And we've also got some other stuff going on as well. So we've got a brand new show starting in February. And next Thursday, we've got it's the last episode of our Midnight Tower campaign. It's the big finale of book 1. So tune in for that. But we got a lot of stuff going. Right up until UK Games Expo, we are jammed packed with stuff. We keep getting asked to do more stuff, which is fantastic. Thank you to everyone who's doing that. Keep it coming. I don't mind pushing things around and jiggling things around on the schedule. So do keep it coming. And one last thing, if you would like to support the Badgers, because we do a lot of stuff for bits and pieces as and when. We do have some merch. Now, all of this is available. You'll see that those of you joining us in the live chat, there is a live link. For those of you on screen, you want to type it out, you want to do it in longhand version, you can. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, caps, mugs, stickers. I'm sure there's a bath towel thing in there as well at some point, but go and check it out. All of it is there. All of it is up for grabs while stocks last. And the idea is, I think we're going to introduce a limited set. So for 2024, there's going to be a limited number. And then we're going to roll into 2025. So if you don't get it, you will miss out. So check it out.
Cool. Thank you very much. Okay. That took longer than I'd originally planned, but that's fine. Don't ruin up the flow. But I guess the main... so we get to watch Steve kill Dave. The prophecy is finally coming to fruition. It may be. But this is only session 0. Yeah. So... we'll get into it now. Like I say, this is a session 0. This is a session 0. So we're not playing part of the formal adventure. This is a little individual scenario for everyone that we've got to play through, just to get us in and meet the team. A way of introducing the characters, so to speak. So, players, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's hope to God that I am.
We're in deep shit if you ain't.
Okay. Deep breaths. You stand for a few seconds and marvel at the sheer size of the vault before you. It's a wonder to behold. You simultaneously admire its beauty and shudder at the thought of the sheer scale of engineering that's gone behind it. The multifaceted tumblers and dials. You shudder because after this moment of calm, you should be attempting to open it. Not to steal anything, of course. No, those days are long gone. That's a different time, a different place, a different person even. No, now you only earn an honest coin, which to be fair does see you working 3 times harder just to get by. But you are starting to make a name for yourself and amongst the sorts of people that could make life a lot easier for you. So maybe things will get a bit easier in the future. Maybe you'll even be able to hire on a few more people and try and avoid the night work, so to speak. Somewhere, a clock strikes 2, and you are thrust back into the moment. You are standing in Lord Bexley's wine cellar, deep in the basement of his sprawling estate in the Ivy district of Absalom. Getting in was easy enough. Bribe the night watchman with the gambling addiction, pickpocket the maid for the house key, and a couple of drug stakes for the hunting dogs. Piece of cake, so to speak. But the vault, well, Lord Bexley wasn't kidding when he hired you on to test his security. That really is the real deal. You take a deep breath, find some of that swagger from the old days. After all, no one keeps a Catstew Lofty down. And you step forward. You are, after all... Is everything okay, Lex? You got this, right?
You know, I think this is going to be just fine.
Could you please in character, Meredith?
So, I am Lex Liana, a elf rogue who hails from the Catstew Thieves Guild and now finds herself in Absalom. She is a rogue turned good. Some might call her a white hat in modern terms. But what she specializes in is breaking into the unbreakable. And Lex's favorite thing to do in the whole world is break into vaults. And that's why she's here and hopefully going to walk away with a big payday if she can prove to her person who hired her. Sorry, a cat decided to walk on my screen here and see if she can't, Lord Bexley, she can prove to Lord Bexley that his vault is not as secure as he thought it was.
So your companion stares back at you. He is, in fact, your own employee number 1. And that means he's your first employee. Definitely not employee of the month material, this one. Rumslow Higginbottom is his name, or Butch as he prefers. He's been employed for one reason and one reason only: muscle. He's a blunt force instrument. He has absolutely no finesse, no skill whatsoever. And you've employed him because in the last few jobs that you've undertaken, the rich and elite of Absalom have decided to make it even harder. They've been leaving night watchmen inside the vault on the evenings that you break in and not informing them that you're there to test the security. They've assumed you're there to rob them. So after one particularly bruising encounter, he decided to take some action, hence Butch. But as I say, he's not there to help. He's not going to be of any use unless there is a night watchman inside this vault as well. So I guess we'll see. So you turn back to the vault. How do you want to open it?
So Lex is going to assess the vault, and first she's going to check for any obvious traps.
Okay. If you'd like to make me a thievery check, please.
Oh, yes.
Actually, scratch that.
Yeah,
I'll get you to make me a
scratch that.
perception check, please.
You want a perception? Okay, we could do a perception check. Let us find the dice here. We're going to go, 16 plus 6. So I got a nice 22.
That's a good roll. So, but for your assessment, this does not appear to be trapped. This is a well-made vault. It is a 3-tumbler lock. So you've got 3 codes to find.
All right. Lex pulls herself back and takes a long look at the vault, studying the intricacies and drawing upon her knowledge from her early days when she first started out. And going back to the basics, she pulls out her thieves' tools and with her most trusted lockpick starts to unlock the first level.
Make me that thievery check now, please.
It's a total of 13.
You try to get that lockpick in there, but there's it's made so well there are hardly any gaps between the tumblers and the dials. You're not going to be able to jimmy the lock. You're not going to be able to force the lock. You're going to have to actually spin the dials and try and find the combination, which is going to take maybe a little bit more of a finesse touch than you've used before. This is really going to test your skills.
All right. So Lex decides that she's going to change tactics here. And being an elf, luckily having long and nimble hands and high dexterity is a bonus for her. Not for you, Kat. And she leans in and listens.
Okay.
And begins to fiddle.
Okay. Make me a perception check, please.
$22.
You get into the zone. You get so much into the zone that time seems to be irrelevant. You spin the dials. You eventually find what you believe to be the correct setting for the first. You move on to the second. You do the same. As you move on to the third, you decide to take a step back. Just take a breath. Just take a calming moment. You reach up to wipe sweat from your eyes, and you realise that quite some time has passed in that focus on your task. The room spins suddenly, and you tumble backwards. And I'd like you to make me a will saving throw, please.
Oof, 9.
That fall backwards, you're suddenly caught from behind. Something catches you physically, preventing you from falling flat on your backside on the floor. A different voice speaks this time, not not that of Romslow. This is a softer voice, a more experienced voice. Are you okay, Lexi? The voice is warm and caring, and when you look up, you're staring straight into the eyes of your mentor and the leader of the Lofties, Quinn Long. She smiles at you. Are you okay?
Lex shakes her head, and trying to get out of the fog. I'm fine. She assesses the situation. She feels that this isn't right, but she's just right back in the past. And she just looks up and says, "How are you?"
Well, I'm fine, Lex, but this probably isn't the time. Look, we got to get this vault open, and the watch will be changing in 30 minutes, and we need to be out of here by then. So, if you're feeling okay, Gil, let's
Yeah. Lex shakes her head and stands up and goes back to the vault, and she takes a deep breath. She closes her eyes, and she spins the dial.
So, the person you just conversed with, you remember Gwyn from a long, long time ago, back in Corvosa, and you recognise the vault that's now before you. This is a different job. This was a job from your past. This was a Hardwick job. This is a merchant jeweller's, and you remember that Quinn gave you your big break on this job. She chose you as a safe breaker over a lot of other more experienced lofties at the time. This is when you really made your name in the gang, almost to the point where you became Quinn's right-hand person. So you step up, you spin that dial, and with unnerving accuracy, you find the right number almost immediately. You reach down and you spin the lever. And as that happens, a lock disengages and you're able to swing the door open. Looking inside is just wall-to-ceiling glitter. There's jewels and gold and gems as far as the eye can see. All sorts of display cases, ruby necklaces, diamond rings. It's like a candy store for a thieves guild. Quinn heads in and immediately starts filling her bag with whatever is at hand. You see she has a practiced eye. She knows what she wants. She knows what will carry the most in value. Are you going to enter as well and help?
Lex follows Quinn, and just her eyes go wide, and she looks around, seeing where she's going to start. And I think something glittery off to the side catches her eye.
Okay. So you start filling your own bag, grabbing handfuls of jewels, getting them in there as quickly as possible, because this is a job with a time limit. Can you make me a perception check, please?
Yes. Roll a real one for that. Oh no. 9.
You're so focused on what you're doing, filling the bag with jewels, that you do not hear the wall panel slide open. You don't hear somebody or something step out of that hidden panel. And you're just as surprised as Quinn is when you hear the shout, "Lex, run!" And you turn around and you see this metallic monster, all blades and points, having grabbed Lex around the top of her arm and is restraining her. "Lex, run! Just get out! Get out!" I'll quickly put up the creature that you see without the pike, but it's a creature that's in front of you, and has Quinn restrained. The room spins again slightly. Your vision warps, and you're no longer holding a bag of jewels. You're now holding a dagger. So I'm going to ask you to roll initiative, please.
Nice. 18.
Okay. You can go first.
Oh boy. Well, since I probably don't have an attack of opportunity on this one, or my sneak attack,
No
Lex
sneak attack.
no
'cause
sneak
you,
attack. I know.
Yeah.
Lex is just gonna take her dagger and aim directly for the arm that's holding her mentor.
Okay. So you're going to try and break Quinn away.
I'm gonna try to break like right through it. Like, see, she looks. Hopefully, she looks for an opening in the clockwork armor, and goes right for the area that's holding Quinn.
Okay. Roll your attack. You'll have to move across the vault slightly, so one of your actions will be a partial move.
Yeah.
But you can use your other two actions to make a strike.
Well, let's roll. Come on. Using the new, getting used to path builders. So okay. Roll to attack. She rolled a 5.
Okay, that's a miss. So your dagger flies across, striking off of one of the metallic plates. Unfortunately, it didn't hit where you're aiming for. And your next attack.
Stop, tuck, and roll.
This is really tough. Lex, gosh, wow, she's going to try to recover. Let's see if she can use some acrobatics to kind of recover her balance and reposition herself to ready for an attack on her.
Yeah. Okay. What I'll do then, make an acrobatics check.
25.
I'll give you a bonus 2 to your armor class. Okay. So you sort of tumble away and get into a bit of a defensive stance.
Yeah.
Okay. The creature, still firmly gripping Quinn by the arm, steps forward towards you and takes a swing with its bladed fist. That is not very good on the dice, but it still hits an armor class of 21.
Oh, not very good.
Oh no, because my AC is 18. Even with my bonus, I'd be 20.
Okay, so this strikes down, and you're going to take 5 points of damage, please, as the bladed fingers slice across the upper part of your torso. It would have been a lot worse if you hadn't been in that defensive stance. So that was a good tactic. Okay, it only takes one attack because it needed to move and also drag Quinn with it. So that's the end of that round. Quinn is just spending all of her time trying to extricate herself from that grip, but it's almost like having a shackle around her arm. All the fingers have interlocked together. She just looks at you, looks you straight in the eyes, and imploringly pleads with you, "Lex, just run, just run." And it's the top of the next round. It's your action.
I can't leave you. I refuse to leave you. Lex pleads with her master. I won't. Taking a look around the situation, Lex assesses if she sees another opportunity for a weak point.
You could dodge around the back and try and attack from the rear. See if there's less coverage. Because Queen is also around the front as well, so you've got that in mind. So yeah, if you make an acrobatics check, you can tumble through to the other side.
11. Why?
Okay, so you go to tumble past, but this creature is bigger than you expected. You sort of hit into its thigh and stumble somewhat, and you end up slightly prone down on one knee next to it. Can you make me a perception check, please?
Yeah. Let's see. Now you're good. 17.
Something catches your attention over by the main vault door. You realize that this creature, as well as being sort of somebody that would be extra security, could also merely be a distraction. As you see falling from the ceiling to cover the door an iron portcullis type gate. You have one action to react. What do you want to do?
Lex looks at
Fly, you
Quinn
fools.
with pleading eyes and rushes to dodge under the portcullis.
Okay. I need you to make me a will saving throw, please.
9.
Oh.
Your vision darkens once again. You stagger and the room spins. Your intended escape, an acrobatic tumble across the entrance to the vault, fails. And that large steel gate crashes down in front of you with a resounding bang. You are trapped. From outside, you hear a laugh, an evil, sinister thing. You turn and see the scene behind you has changed once again. The vault is now empty, completely empty. And it's not this cavernous space that was filled with promise and jewels and riches. It's now much, much smaller and seems to be growing smaller with every single second. You feel this almost perceptible pressure over your entire body as that tension just builds more and more. You hear that noise again from outside and you spin and look out of the gates and you see Quinn. But this time she's clearly dead. Her face, her body are ruined. Her arm is tilted at an impossible angle, the bone protruding through the upper portion. Her jaw is hanging loose, and her voice seems to be penetrating straight through to your mind, to your soul, because she's clearly not speaking. And you hear this. You betrayed me, Lex. You left me to die. You ran. I gave you everything. You took everything, and it still wasn't enough. For you, Lexi, it never was enough, was it? Well, now it's my turn. And the corpse of your mentor, Queen, stares hard at you. She would smile if it was possible, if not for that ruined jaw. And you stand there as the walls of the vault grow ever, ever closer. And again, you feel that pressure and that tension across your whole body as you just completely, you lose yourself to fear and dread. Your vision fades to black for one final time. We cut to the next scene.
Go easy on the guests, players there, Steve.
Great. He's
Damn,
not
that was great.
Such one.
Oh, that was God.
I need a drink.
Does anyone need a break?
No. Let's
No,
go.
I
Let's go.
want to see what happens to someone else.
You see, you've had the pleasure of going first. Now everybody's gone, fucking hell, what's it going to be like for me?
just roll better. That's all. Just roll well.
Okay.
He's going to kill us all.
I told him it'd be fun, Steve. We're just going to roll some dice, have a few laughs.
It's just a session 0, no pressure.
Yeah, so you know, where's the laughs, man? Where's the laughs?
Damn.
Okay. Right, you ready? You ready? Second scene. It's a mild summer morning and you're walking alone through the Immenwood. You're heading southeast towards the great city of Absalom to yet another appointment with a great wielder of magic. A distant promise of a cure, but one that you can't ignore if there's even the slightest chance. No, best not to get your hopes up. There's a long path to tread yet before you reach the Petal District and your appointment with one Intari Mesmo at the College of Mysteries. Professor Mesmo sounded very confident in his letter. He believed the breakthrough was possible. Then, haven't they all said that? All of the hacks, the eminent wizards, the back alley merchants, and the hedge witches, their midnight rituals. Not one of them making any impact at all. Still, this journey is more pleasant than usual. The woods are green, the air is fresh, and the sounds of nature surround you. Across the path, you see Valanyar break through the undergrowth and bound towards you. She skitters as you reach your feet, deftly leaping up your robe and into the small silver cage that dangles from your belt. Your ermine companion looks up. You guess something must have spooked her. Can you make a will saving throw, please?
All right. So what am I doing? Just for
A will saving throw, please.
Oh, that's a good one. Oof. Thank God for my +9. 12.
Thank you. The sky darkens for an instant. You look up and see a flock of birds suddenly take flight, squawking loudly at the disturbance. The wind picks up and branches of the trees sway wildly above your head. The sun seems to shift in the sky and the shadows elongate on the path ahead of you. If you didn't know better, you'd say you're in a different place entirely, a different forest at a different time. As the wind dies, you hear a whisper. Aramil, it calls. Aramil. The sound is coming from deeper in the forest ahead. What do you wish to do?
Oh, I'm reluctantly going to walk towards it.
Okay. You push through the undergrowth, heading in the direction of the name calling your wind. And you eventually step through a thicket and into a clearing. Before you stands a ruined entrance to an ancient tomb. The iron gate has fallen to ruin. The supporting pillars are now just crumbled stone. All that remains is a partially collapsed roof and a set of well-worn stairs that lead down into darkness. A beautiful woman stands just ahead of you. She turns slightly and smiles. Hurry along, Aramil. It'll be night soon. And your wife then winks at you. You know the skull is only meant in jest after all. Describe what she sees. Describe your character, please, Mike.
I am a human half-elf. I'm about 6'3". My only unique characteristic is I have milky white eyes. I carry traditional trinkets around my waist, plus a small, very sturdy-looking cage that Valanya crawls into, and that's her safe space. And yeah, that's about it.
So, Alandra, your wife's name. You remember this moment. This is a very critical moment in your past. You're about to enter the tomb of Nostrum. You remember this very, very moment. It's particularly etched on your memory. This is the last day that you saw her. She looks over to you and again, in jest, scolds you. Quit daydreaming, Aramil. Come on, let's get down here. This tomb isn't going to deliver Nostrum's cage to us, now is it? It snaps you out of your reverie, so to speak. And as you look over at the stairs, you see the last of Alandra's head disappear from view. You can see the torchlight from the torch she was carrying flicker on the stairs as she descends away from you. What do you wish to do?
I immediately chase after her.
Okay. The stairs go down about 30 feet into the darkness. You soon catch up with Alandra. you immediately remember the entire layout of this tomb. And as you continue through, searching for the treasure that you both seek, you of course find it goes much easier than it did before. You seem to, with absolute clarity, remember every trap, every secret door, every enemy within, and you successfully manage to steer Alandra from any harm. That is your sole focus. Until within a short amount of time, much shorter than before, you stand at the final door, the door to the tomb of Nordstrom herself. Alandra makes swift work of the lock, as she always does. That is her speciality. And swings the large door inwards. It is exactly as is burned in your mind. There's the raised dais, there's the ornate sarcophagus, and behind, sitting atop a stone pedestal, is that small silver cage. Absolutely frozen in memory, you fail to react as Alandra quickly crosses the room, moving towards Nostrum's cage, which is what you've been sent here to retrieve. She looks across the room and smiles. See, Aramil, it was easy after all. That easy smile that you always remember, your favourite thing about her. This time, though, things change. What happened before doesn't happen this time. The blinding flash still appears, but this time a ghostly apparition rises from the sarcophagus. It hisses and screeches. It yells, "Defilers!" in an otherworldly voice. What do you wish to do?
How far am I away from her?
About 25 feet. The creature that's risen from the sarcophagus, and I'll put that on the screen now.
And how far is she from the wraith?
Oh, dude.
Only a few feet, because that stone pedestal was almost directly behind the sarcophagus.
Oh, man.
What I'd like you to do for me, please, is roll initiative.
I can do that. What am I adding? Dex?
Perception.
Oh. Why you gotta do that to me? That's a -2.
Oh,
11.
Okay. I rolled badly. You can go first.
Oh, nice. How far did you say? 25 feet?
25 feet. So you need to take a move to get across the room. But the wraith is between you and Alandra.
What's between us?
The wraith.
Oh, he's in the middle. Oh, that's so good. Not knowing what he's immune to, I'm going to cast Shocking Grasp on it.
Yep.
Which you're going to have to help me out here. I rolled a 12. I'm not sure what my modifiers are.
That's a 12, yeah. Okay. Your modifiers will add up to about 19, so no, that's a miss.
Okay.
Okay, so you cast Shocking Grasp, and as the spell completes, whatever energy you thrust into that attack just disperses across the room. There seems to be something in the room that's designed to sort of work against magic.
Kind of like a shield.
A bit like a shield, yeah. So that's your go over. You've moved. You cast your spell. Alandra sort of she goes to attack, and then he's almost frozen in place. So she goes to attack with a dagger, and then gets frozen as the wraith creature reaches down, grabs Alandra by the shoulders, and seems to physically pull the life force from her. You see her face begin to almost age. It's strange, sort of becomes desiccated and older at the same time. So that's the creature's attack. He's just to drain the life from Alandra.
Do I have time to react?
But it's now your go again. So yes,
I want to rush.
Else.
I want to rush towards her and I just want to shoulder check her to try to get her out of the grasp of the wraith.
Okay, make me an athletics check, please.
Wraiths are nasty things, man.
11. Damn it! So much for rolling good.
You had one job.
You try to push through, but there's this force. It is almost like a shield, almost like a force field. It's like running through extremely strong wind. It's pushing you back, keeping you on the door side of the sarcophagus, where the wraith and Alandra are trapped on the other side. You've got one more action. What do you want to do?
Where? So I'm the word. Did I even move at all?
You moved maybe 5 feet, but you didn't get where you intended to go. You couldn't quite break through this force that was holding you back. You can attempt it again. You're not going to be able to shoulder check Alandra out of the way, but you might be able to get between her and the wraith.
I'm going to do that then and try to maybe squeeze between them.
Okay, and make me an athletics check again then, please.
16.
Okay. You do manage to push through. You manage to stand in front of Alandra. Do you want to be facing the wraith or do you want to be facing Alandra?
I'm facing the wraith to focus his attention on me.
Yeah. Your imposing 6'3" figure, Alandra, she's not short by any means, but she's shorter than you, with a slightly smaller frame. This wraith is massive, 8 foot tall, floating in the air above you, looking down at what it sees as somebody who's defiled the tomb by going and picking up this cage. It ignores you completely. Well, it ignores you to the extent where it's just going to pass through you. Can you make me a fortitude saving throw, please?
+4, 18.
Okay, so you suffer no ill effects, but the wraith just passes through you to continue its attack on Alandra. It again makes its drain life, almost like caresses and kisses Alandra as the last of her life force is sucked out. And you hear with horror as she falls to the floor behind you. The wraith disappears completely, gone from sight, gone from the room.
I immediately collapse to the floor and crawl over to her, cradle her head, and look her in the eye and yell out her name in desperate despair.
You cradle her. She's limp and lifeless in your arms. Until that is, the withered face turns its head towards you. Doesn't turn, snaps its head towards you in a movement that speaks of anger and suppressed rage. Deep within what used to be her eyes are deep blue sparks of light. They dance there. The easy smile is long gone. There's now this rictus-like expression upon her face. And the words that come from this thing that used to be your wife, you don't so much hear them, you feel them. I always knew you would let me down. Knew you could never protect me. Always daydreaming, always elsewhere. Useless husband. Fear and guilt, some feeling of inadequacy just overcomes you completely. As Alandra reaches up with bony, claw-like fingers to scratch your face. Can you roll me a will saving throw, please?
Dude.
Oh,
+9
man.
on that one. Oof, another crap roll. 13.
Disfigurement.
You feel those fingers scratch down your face. You feel the blood flow into your eyes as your vision blacks out for one final time.
That was brutal.
I see
That's
how
an
this game is going to
understatement.
be.
I quit. I'm out of here.
Okay, next scene. You ready?
Hold on 1 sec. So a couple of things. Your mic seems to be kicking out every now and then, so you stay
Okay.
close to the mic if you can.
Right, this close.
Not that
Andrew.
close is fine, but
Beautiful.
when you lean right back, it kicks out.
Mhm.
Okay,
So
okay.
stay closer. Did you want the background music on?
Yes, sorry, I completely forgot about it.
Take 2.
Yeah, sorry, we've got to go through all that again.
Yeah. Here's the happy version now.
Something tells me even a 20's not going to save you from a bad thing. No.
A 20 would save you. Might be the only thing that saves you.
This GM hates us, and we're just getting started.
We're getting,
I know.
We're getting
What
some,
the hell? What did we sign up for?
some tough rolls.
Yeah.
You go into the abomination vault, but you don't come out.
D&D. D&D.
I don't think we're gonna make it.
No. And I thought my other Pathfinder campaign, it's an evil campaign, and I thought that was bad. No, this hurts. This hurts.
Shot with a heart.
I knew I gave you too much fodder with my background.
You gave me a lot of fun. I had fun with yours. A lot of
You're
fun
welcome.
with yours. Okay.
You wrote that
and
in your
our
background
next scene.
story. Oh, and also, Michael, can you change your on-screen details?
I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay. The Arcanarium, I can't say that word. The Arcanarium, the oldest, largest, and most prestigious school of magic in Absalom, the Inner Sea, and as most of the faculty and student body would say, the whole of Galarian. For many, it is a lifelong dream to come and study here. It's not an easy path to walk, and it takes not only a natural gift for the magical arts, but also hard work and dedication. You've got to put the hours in, you remember someone saying once. And that is what you did all those many years ago back in Sandpoint. Your dream of becoming a great wielder of magic. The many doubters and naysayers telling you to stay in your lane. Follow the family business. Why do we need magic anyway? What good does that do us? Does it put food on the table? No. You stay true to your dream. You put in the hours, studying the methods, the craft, the science and the maths behind the mystery. Everything can be understood once you know the rules, except, of course, for fire. Fire is, after all, pure chaos. And you guess that's why you're always drawn to it, the one thing you never truly understood, but always seemed to have a natural ability to conjure. As soon as you were able, you left Sandpoint and journeyed to Absalom, taking the necessary examinations to be accepted as a student. And even here, there were doubters. But thanks to Professor Cornelius's guidance, you made it through those tougher times and were able to graduate. You'll never forget the professor, his graduation gift of his personal silver and ivory quill. Such joy followed almost immediately by tragedy, as the following morning Cornelius was found dead in his chambers. With continuing hard work, you enrolled for professorship, working towards Cornelius's open position teaching elemental studies. And just 2 short years ago, that hard work was rewarded when you were offered a tenure at the college teaching Professor Cornelius's old subject itself. You put down your quill and you pause in your note taking. The memoir is coming along adequately, you feel. And as you look away from the page you've just written, somebody clears their throat. You look up. Professor Kingsman, it's 8 after. Class should have started by now, sir.
Oh, okay, yes. Let me just finish this one note off and I'll be right in. I'll be there in a second.
You look up. You notice that the classroom is full. All the students are sat at their work desks and they're all staring intently in your direction.
Oh,
Why
you
don't you
already here?
describe what they see?
I must have been completely oblivious. I must have been daydreaming. Who knows? But anyway, yes. Are you ready, class? I'm a bit disheveled today. I must be. Maybe it was the bacon and eggs. I don't know. But I seem to be wearing my traveling gear. I'm a dwarf, as you can tell, but a bit stocky. Nothing quite fits. The buttons are a bit pulley around the top. But I'm wearing my nice bright red traveling coat. It goes all the way down, and it's my crisp, nicely pressed white shirt, and my waistcoat, as I always do. I like to put my finger pistols into my little pockets in my waistcoat, and it's plaid, which is the top of the fashion, I believe, with most of you kids. Probably that's probably what it is. But yes, I seem to have a lot of chalk on my desk for some reason, and I must have got lost in my notes. I'm writing my memoirs, don't you know? But I've probably mentioned that a few times, I guess.
You stand up, and that chalk dust sort of creates a cloud around your being, and you walk around the desk, the front of the class, haloed as the sun streams in from the window behind you. You eventually recall, after being distracted somewhat by the whirling eddies of chalk dust that surround you, that today's class is summoning the elemental flame. Now, this is a tricky manipulation of power, which requires you to open a small controlled portal to the plane of fire, just enough to ignite the fuel. It's an excellent way of teaching students about the manipulation of energy, exact manipulation of energy, because, of course, if you feed too much power into this incantation, you can cause a larger aperture to open and end up with a major conflagration, burning the building down, so to say. You take a deep breath and you step forward to demonstrate the ritual. So why don't you explain how that goes?
Right, class. What you're going to do, I'll do it first, and you're going to follow step by step, okay? But don't lose concentration. I'll shut the door. Here we go, and pull down the blind so we won't be disturbed. But we're going to light the candle. That's the first thing you do. You take your candle and then you light it like that. It's a simple cantrip. You've all learned this one in first day. So just do that, and then put it down gently, and now concentrate. You have to kind of start to talk to it with your mind. Follow the flame. With your eyes, look deep, deep into the flame. And then you'll see it start to dance. And when it starts to dance, you'll feel the warmth. Not around your hands, not on your face, but inside. Deep inside in your chest, where your heart is, or where the heart should be. And let the warmth grow. And as the warmth spreads through your body, so you see, look, the flame starts to brighten and get bigger around the candle.
Indeed it does. In short order, a flame pops into existence, transferring from the candle to the brazier in front of you, the coals now glowing with a gentle orange heat. You look around the rest of the class and they've taken your example, and a few of the more eager students are attempting. You can see the looks of concentration on their face. Almost looks like they're going to the toilet and are constipated, but they're concentrating hard.
Careful, Vix, careful. Control yourself. Master the flame, Vix. Master the flame. There we go. That's better.
Suddenly, from the back of the class, you see a large flame briefly shoot into the air.
Oh, that's too much.
Sounds of ooh and ah
reverberate
around the back of the class,
followed
by a cry of huzzah.
Yeah.
Told you I could do it. Well,
Who's
pay
that?
up, Benson.
Benson?
No,
Benson.
you recognize the voice of the perpetrator. It's a student, a particularly troublesome student called Yuska. He is the most entitled, bore-headed, arrogant son of a merchant that's ever graced the Arcanarium. I can't say that bloody word.
The Arcana Miriam.
Yes, thank you. He's skilled enough, but a lazy, lazy student. He's very naturally gifted, and he knows it. And that is a bad combination. From the back of the class, he shouts to you, look here, Kingsman, mine's bigger than yours.
What? It's not the size that counts. It's about control, boy. It's about control. Something you don't have very little of.
You know that this one is, there's going to be no sirs or professors from Yuska. There's no deference at all. He's a bully. He only respects one thing and one thing only: raw power. There's no control. There's no finesse. This one would use fireball instead of a firework any day. He's got an audience now because the class has all turned. Everyone stopped trying to attempt this ritual. He stands. Now, my father says that any old fart can fire up a flame in these sorts of conditions. Nice, relaxed, calm environment, no pressure. But you try doing it in the heat of battle where somebody's trying to stop you, when somebody is working against you. What about you, Kingspan? Reckon you can conjure up a flame when someone's fighting you? How do you feel about a challenge? A small wager, maybe. How about an eighth for a term?
Yeska, it's not about that. I am here to teach you how to control it, not to piss around and bore everyone in my class. Now, you do this every single week. Why have you not learned to do this? Why are you like this?
I clearly have mastered this class. I don't understand why you're still failing me.
Clearly
All I'm
your
asking
father's
for,
son.
Yes, which means I will do great things one day. What will you do, Kingspan? Just retire as a dusty old fart that you already are? Come on, man. Why didn't you stand up to the challenge? You say you're the master and I'm the student. Well, prove it.
And as he says, prove it. I walk back to my desk and I pick up the apple that someone's obviously left there for me, and I rub it on my jacket, and I can feel the anger burning inside. And just next to me, just at the corner of my eye, I can see the candle as it starts to spark, you see. So I firmly place the apple down on the desk, and I turn around and I start to stride across the classroom. And as I do, I'm going to whip from left to right, to left to right, all the flames on the various good students. The flames go out, and one by one, you see them. They summon to me, you see. I call them because I control the flames.
Can you make me a will saving throw, please?
Okay.
All right, Dave, go on.
I got an 8 plus 7. Oof.
Weirdly, and you know you're more than capable of doing what you just described, but weirdly, sweat begins to bead on your brows. You feel something pushing against you, a force working in opposition. Your vision darkens and the room spins, and you need to blink away a sudden feeling of lethargy, like you want to fall asleep, instantly fall asleep. You blink a few times and you spin, and then all of a sudden you're no longer in your classroom. You're now standing in the quadrangle that sits outside between the college buildings. Now, this is the place where the students take their entrance exams. And in fact, this is exactly what appears to be happening right now. You can see the senior faculty members sat at the head table, and a number of students are demonstrating their knowledge. You see small cantrips going off. You see people chalking up equations on the board. You see people performing martial arts maneuvers because the please say the word.
The Arcana Miriam
is all about a diversity of learning.
Yes.
You see Dean Rixus. You see the masters, Ellis and Upton. You see the dire Sir Bramwich, such a horror during your student days. And of course, sat next to him at head table you see Professor Cornelius. Then this clearly is a memory, one that you instantly recognize. This is a day that you came for your only examination, to be accepted as a student to study here at the college. Dean Rixer stands from behind the table and steps forward. Jakes, Kingsman, come forward, he yells. A human boy of around 16 steps forward. He's clearly the son of a noble, just from the way he dresses. He's got that sort of face that just opens doors, welcomes in anywhere he wants to get to. Then there's you. You're self-funded. Your road clothes are dusty from the long journey from Sandpoint. And you can see Sir Branwich, sat there at head table, has already passed judgment. You are not the sort of student that he wants at this college. Dean Rixus speaks again. Students, prepare yourselves. Step forward and stand in the marked areas. And the Dean points towards 2 1-foot diameter circles that have been chalked into the floor of the quadrangle. The test shall be thus. Use whatever magical means at your disposal to make your opponent step outside of their circle. The first to step out is the loser. This is a contest of wills. Begin. And with that, I'd like you to make me another will saving throw, please.
Okay. I've got a natural 1 plus 7.
First of the campaign.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Good job.
Done.
So before you can react, you feel this just wave of energy wash over you, and your vision just goes completely black. You get spots in front of your eyes that slowly clear, and when they do, you glance up, and from Jake's, your opponent, across the other side of the quadrangle, you see several long-legged creatures, what can only be described as scuttling across the quadrangle in your direction. What I'll do is I'll put up some artwork.
Oh, you.
Cool.
You person, you.
At least they're not as bad as this one.
They're not as bad as that one. No.
Do I need to turn the camera to my actual tarantulas?
No,
just to up the tension. So these creatures, and there are many, they are scuttling towards you. Can you roll initiative for me, please?
Okay.
No more ones, Dave.
I'm looking for my initiative.
Just start planning your funeral, buddy.
Yeah. It is not good. It's a 9.
Okay. I go first.
Yeah.
So these creatures, there are 12 of them in total. They scurry across the floor. They cover the distance in no time at all, and you're stood in that chalk circle. As they slowly begin to climb up your traveling clothes into your robe, over your shoulder, into your cloak. One goes up into your hair. They haven't attacked yet, but they have swarmed. Your action. What do you want to do?
I have an innate fear of these 8-legged beasts, and one, I'm going to panic, then I'm going to run, and as I run, I'm going to try to flick off as many as I can, and I know I'm going to run to the edge of the circle. It is blind panic that's around me, but at the same time, I can feel flame. I'm burning with anger, and I want to just explode.
So 2 things happen. You go to run, not caring one whit that you step outside this circle and forfeit your entrance exam. lose your chance to become a student. That is not what is at the front of your mind. You're in an irrational state of fear right now. You try to move, you try to run, but you are frozen to that spot. The second thing that happens is, yes, you do start to conjure that fire, but in your fearful sort of state, you're not in the usual sort of control that you are more familiar with. You hear some words. They're coming from Cornelius. You recognise that voice, and it is also urging you to let go, to lose that control, to build on that fire that's within you, just described. It says, summon the fire within you, Kingsman. Now is not the time for control. So how do you want to form this thing that you're building?
I will let I can feel the pressure building up inside, and I want to explode. I'm like the Human Torch. It's like flame on, and I want to be completely part of the flame. I want to be the flame. No more flesh, no more blood, no more bone. I want to be flame, but I know it's not possible. The rational side of my brain is still there, clinging on. So I summon it into my hands, and it's as the flame builds, it rushes down my arms.
You look down and your arms have turned to fire, but that first part of your wish, where you wished for no more flesh, no more bone, no more blood, to become this thing of flame, to explode outwards in fire, that you thought would be stopped by your rational mind, isn't, because there is no rational mind at the moment. You are in a state of irrational fear. Your unconscious brain is entirely in control. You lose control completely. You engulf the quadrangle in flame. The other students are like candles that are suddenly lit. They charge around on fire. You see Rixus floored by the explosion. The head table turned over. This thing of stone and metal trapping Edis and Upton beneath it, clearly dead. You even see Cornelius stood there looking at you, calm as anything, as completely alight, flesh falls away from him in chunks. He looks in your direction, and you hear the words in your mind. Such potential, but wasted. Oh, so wasted. Such a disappointment you were, Kingsman. And then your eyes darken, and your vision fades to black.
Your nickname's Carrie.
Okay.
Damn!
Right. Thanks for that.
I think I'm going to go now.
No.
Right.
You're next, buddy.
If you want to sort your name out and headline out, please, Dave. Sorry, I've got to have a drink.
Yeah, yeah, good after
Yeah,
that.
you need the drink.
You drink now.
Richard, make sure your will is up to date and all the lawyers have it and you're good to go. We'll see you on the other side.
It's all right. I've got Dragonborn with me. His dice will be my first roll.
Okay, are you ready?
Let's go.
There is nothing that you take greater joy in than the quiet solitude of the Dawnflower Library at sunrise. The tranquil Temple of Serenray in Otari is a haven for you, especially at the start of the day when it is largely empty, before the hustle and bustle of the general worshippers and researchers gets going. This day begins as have the many before it. You perform your regular duties, the maintaining, the blessing, the small shrine, the maintaining, cleaning, and blessing of the small shrine to Iron Maiden. That is your purview. You say your prayers and honor the memory of your predecessor and mentor, Aldrich. You mull over what the day may bring, what journeys are to come, what assignments await you. You may tend to the shrine, but your dedication, so to speak, is a much more martial aspect. If you were a private citizen, your profession would be described as treasure seeker, tomb raider, fortune hunter. However, yours is a holy edict. You don't seek relics for gold or personal gain. You do so in order to keep the deadly, dangerous magics from harming the population. You recover ancient relics and artifacts under the church's guidance and instruction. Much like your mentor before you, and you are sure when you find your own apprentice that they will continue when you have gone also. The church is all about consistency, after all. So, relic gathering is your calling, but that doesn't mean that other items that you may recover during the course of your travels can't make you a little extra coin on the side. For the upkeep of the shrine, obviously, you do take great pride in the fact that the Iron Maidie's shrine is the best kept at Dawnflower. So it's in the course of this work that you have developed a relationship with the owner of a local curio shop called Rin's Wonders. Rin deals in all sorts of items, magical or otherwise, but she also deals in rumour and information. So not only has this relationship rewarded in monetary terms, it has also provided valuable information on relics you have recovered for the church, which has done wonders for your reputation within the order. The morning passes pleasantly enough as you complete the remainder of your chores. It is, however, a little boring, nothing at all like the thrill of the find when you're on a mission. So when you see Rin enter the Dawnflower and wave in your direction, your mood is lifted even more than usual. Darred, how are you this fine morning?
Well, Rin, and you?
Yes, I am well. Thank you for asking.
Good.
Why don't you describe your character, and what I will do is put up a picture of Rin for the audience.
Darred Thurn, devout cleric of the goddess Imade, may her ever-burning light guide his hand in the pursuit of justice and honor. Those who know Darred have remarked how he is easy to overlook, unimposing, some have said, yet when he speaks, all listen and weigh his words. He stands at 5'8", long dark hair, clean-shaven. The slight point to his ears give away his heritage. Proud of such, he is never one to hide it. His 30 winters are clear on his face, and the scars that decorate his warrior's body have been earned in the service to the goddess.
Why don't we walk a while as we talk? It's nice to take in the rest of the library.
Yes, please, after you.
See you walk around. You talk about inconsequential things, some of the things that are going on in Otari. The local council changes, the taxes, how Rin's shop is doing. Business has been a bit slow lately, but she always looks forward to when you bring her trinkets and wonderful new objects. Even if they don't sell, she is pleased to receive them, pleased to be protecting small parts of history. Partially her history. She used to live in a place called Glitterborough that was destroyed by demons. So she managed to escape with her family because she foresaw that happening. She is gifted with foresight. She can augur the stars and tell the future. Not always accurately, unless there is a strong evil presence. That she's almost blessed by a divine sight. So when she gives you information, there is possibly a good source. It comes from faith, which you're a big believer in. So when you return to the Shrine of Iamadi, and I guess she gets down to business, the real reason for coming speaking to you, rather than just a small talk, the passing of time, you listen intently. I'm glad I caught you, Darid. I fear I may have rumour of something that you may be interested in, but could be dangerous. As you're aware, deep in the fog fen sits the old ruined lighthouse. And everyone here knows the story of the Rose Guard, how they defeated the old witch Belcora.
Of course.
Near every damn kid that grew up here knows that bloody silly nursery rhyme. When the fog is creeping and the moon is low, while the town is sleeping, gaunt light starts to glow. Honestly, if I hear that verse again, I might explode. Yes, it's going to be foggy in the swamp. It's called damn fog fen, and oh no, the lighthouse is glowing at night. What a surprise.
Well,
even the meter is grating. I honestly believe that somebody must have scrawled that on some bathroom wall just after the Rose Guard defeated the witch, and it's some sort of elaborate joke. There's no way anyone with an ounce of poetic skill wrote that. Anyway,
the paper I've been writing on.
You probably grew up with that. Your parents probably told it to you, and their parents, your grandparents probably told it to you. It seems to be ingrained in this.
Ingrained in the blood, some might say.
Yes, but I've always found you a bit more worldly, I guess, Darid. You seem to have a sense of the greater place rather than just being Otari. Obviously, you're interested in how Otari fares, but you feel like you've travelled.
I like to think I have seen a little bit more than most.
This is why I've come to you. I was reading the stars last night. I read something that worries me. Something to do with the lighthouse.
It is not like you to be worried easily.
I know, but there's something dark and malevolent out there. I saw a face. See is such a definite word. When you augur, it's more like a feeling. I feel like I'm in events. It was fear and dread. I could feel fear and dread of many, many souls. Like this thing could see through me and know what I feared. It knew what everyone feared, and it fed off that energy, and it wanted to use that energy to power something. Power. And at that point, she absolutely freezes just mid-sentence and becomes rigid and stiff, and her eyes roll back in her head. I'd like you to make me a will saving throw, please.
Right, okay. First roll of the campaign. Ian, may the dice gods be with me. 7. What
You left you high and dry, boy.
Wow.
What was I classing to it?
Your will score. So there should be. It says will on your
15 total.
15. Okay. You get bonus, but not good enough. So you see Rin frozen before you. As I said, her eyes are rolled back. It's not the dice, it's the roller. Yeah. Her eyelids start to flicker open and closed rapidly, almost like she's in a REM-like sleep. You also feel something pass over you, try to take hold, try to grip you in this frozen state also. However, something far more powerful deflects that attack away. Behind you, the shrine of Iamadi, glows with a golden light, and it reveals the illusion in front of you, while simultaneously holding you back from its intended effects. Now, the scene in front of you is one which you are ultimately familiar with. It's one that you will never forget. You see yourself and Altrif descend into a crypt. This was the last mission you ever went on together, the one that she never returned from. A few moments pass as you move through that crypt, moving through rooms, battling creatures exactly the way you remember it. And also exactly the trap that felled her. The spear trap, the fatal wound to the stomach. That feeling, but not as intense now because time has worn it down. That feeling of inability to do anything about it. You did not have the power that you possess now. You couldn't heal Aldrich. You see the subtle manipulations in this vision as you're held away from the spell. You see that it's intended to elicit those feelings of guilt, of fear, of doubt, of despair. It is an entirely fabricated manipulation. It may use your own memory and your own fears against you, but it is used with purpose. This point, the scene differs from your memory. You see Altris return in corpse form. You see her try to blame and cajole your illusion self to increase and multiply that guilt and fear. By pure instinct alone, you reach down and you grab Altrif's holy symbol from your side, that token that she gave you as she lay dying, that ultimately, that forgiveness, that understanding that you shouldn't feel bad because there was nothing that you could do. It was outside of your ability to help. You shouldn't feel guilty for that. You feel that warmth and that,
my voice. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault.
and you feel that reinforced with this feeling of warmth and pride at what you've become suffuse through you. And at that point, that illusion shatters. And the ghostly images pass from your vision completely. Rin, however, is not so lucky. And as you're freed from that ghostly vision, you look down and you see that she is curled tightly into a ball on the floor. She's whimpering, tears stream from her eyes, and those eyes are still rolled back tightly into her skull. You don't know what she sees. You're not party to that. You're not a passenger in her own nightmare hell. But it's obviously not good. Can you make me a perception check, please?
Perception. Okay, deception. What passes to perception? Ah, there it's right. I found it. There we go. Right. Come on. Dicey monkey. 16.
Good enough. You notice that Rin's hands are clutching towards her hip pouch. Her fist is clenching and unclenching frantically, as if she's searching for something. Now, you remember that she always keeps her tarot deck in that hip pouch. This tarot deck was handed to her by her mother, also an augur. And she gave it to her on the day that she began her life on the road, 5 years ago, when she left the haven that they fled to after Glitterborough. She wanted out. She wanted to travel. She wanted to collect stories and collect rumors, but she didn't want to break from her family. So her mother gave her this set of tarot cards. They mean as much to her as, say, your holy symbol does to you. What would you like to do?
I run to her side, kneel down, and I get her tarot deck out and put it in her hand.
Okay. Putting that tarot deck in Rin's hand clearly has some effect. You feel a wave, a pulse almost. It's like a frisson in the air. She immediately uncurls her body. This image of racked pain disperses from her completely and the sobbing ceases. She straightens up, stands, and begins speaking in an unknown tongue. That speech grows faster, punctuated by anger, but still her eyes are rolled back in her head. She's still caught in the illusion, but she may have some semblance of control now. whatever she's facing and speaking is lost to you, but clearly she's talking to whatever is haunting her. Her arms suddenly dart in precise motions that you recognize as the incantation of a spell. Looking around, distracted slightly, you notice that your predicament and Rin's predicament to a great extent has drawn a crowd. Many onlookers have started to edge closer to get a better look, as people do. It's too late that you think to begin to shout a warning, because clearly Rin is doing something and you don't know what. With a sudden shout from Rin of, "You cannot take them!" A radiant light suddenly engulfs the area around her, exploding out, pushing everything and everyone away from her. You see bystanders thrown across the library as you yourself tumble and fly through the air. Can you make me a reflex saving throw, please?
Rolled a 12, reflex 16.
Okay. You stop your flight through the air, but only because you've crashed strongly into the shrine of Aramil, which is just behind where you stood. Your head cracks onto the altar and you lose consciousness. As you black out, you hear Rin yell, "Darrad, no!" And then everything is still. And so our final scene. You come to your senses somewhat and your vision clears once again. And I'm talking here to Kingsman, Aramil, and Lex. The nightmare visions that each of you has suffered is gone to an extent, but what replaces it is possibly much worse. That feeling of dread, fear, guilt, and at times rage is still with you, only now it is multiplied 100 times as you experience everyone else's own individual fears and nightmares. Claustrophobia, arachnophobia, drowning fire, crushing grief, and inadequacy. You experience them simultaneously. You are frozen in place. You're floating in this infinite space with 99 other souls. Before you, in the center, stands a shadowy tower, atop which sits a glowing blue flame. Thin streamers of energy are slowly being pulled from you and everyone else occupying the space with you towards that flame. As the first of those tendrils connects, that flame bursts into a raging torrent, causing a rippling pain to flash across your eyes as the brightness flares suddenly. You would blink and look away if you were able, but you are frozen. A few moments of what is sheer torture pass before, within the flame, a ghostly face begins to form. A silent scream or a cackling laugh spread across that face. This is what you see. At that point, almost simultaneously, in fact, one of the other wretched souls adjacent to where you are frozen suddenly collapses to the floor. You watch as best as you are able out of the corner of your eyes as the female tiefling with long white hair takes a few racking breaths to get her sobs under control. And it's this tiefling that you see. You see a small flash, and you notice that she appears to hold a deck of cards in her hand. She rises, having now got the sobs under control, and seems to have found some strength from somewhere. She looks up and stares towards the face in the flame. No. You were defeated by the Rose Guard. You can't be back. That stupid damn rhyme can't be right. And she almost laughs at the stupidity of it all. She looks around, suddenly conscious of the larger scene, and takes a step forward, once again looking towards the face. This time she shouts, "For those of you that can hear me, this is Belcora. She is evil. Whatever this leads to, whatever this is a prelude to, it needs to be stopped. If you are able, then come and find me in Otari." She then begins to make the precise motions used in spellcasting, and her voice utters in the arcane components of a spell. What spell, you are not sure, but it's soon completed and punctuated with a cry of, "You cannot have them." And that space that you occupy is suddenly engulfed with radiant light. So bright it extinguishes the flame before it, but you black out with the sheer force of the moment. Lex, you come back to your senses in Lord Bexley's basement, in front of the vault that you were employed to break into. You are currently sat atop the now prone form of your assistant, Butch. You are in the act of raining punch after punch onto his face. You are screaming incoherently. Mercifully, he's unconscious because his face is a swollen and bloody ruin. Aramil, you regain your senses as you continue to smash Valania's cage repeatedly into the ground, again and again, the force of which has made your arms go numb. Your ermine companion shrieks in terror as she is thrown from side to side within the cage, crashing into the bars. The cage, thankfully, remains intact and seemingly unharmed. Otherwise, who knows what may have happened. Kingsman. As your eyes flick open and blink into focus, you struggle to take a breath. The classroom is filled with smoke and flame. Obviously, having lost control of the flames you were calling from the students' braziers, fire now rages across the room, up the walls and across the ceiling. Some students have fallen unconscious, and others are helping to drag them from the room out towards the main entrance. You see other faculty members at the doorway trying to organise some way to fight the fire and evacuate the students. A few feet away stands Yuska. The look of horror and terror covers his face as he tries to cradle his clearly burnt hands and forearms. Behind you, the doorway to your antechamber room stands open. The path out, thankfully, clear. Join us next time for session 1.